Langat and his militia. We note that when the current acting EPRA DG, one Dr. Okech, is seemingly overcompromised and accomplice or not in charge of EPRA, the raids have been intensified by Mr. Cliff Mutiso and DIG Eliud Lagat.
The former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has released another bombshell, saying that the president is planning with some firms, which he has mentioned, to leak the 2027 general elections. According to Rigathi Gachagua, he has given details on how they are planning with the IEBC chairperson Eveko Nerastus to rig from the opposition and win the 2027 general election. According to Rigathi Gachagua, he is assuring Kenyans that he will give each and every detail on how and the plans that are being hatched to make sure that the 2027 general election is being rigged. After this, Rigathi Gachagua has given Kenyans hope that they will vote against the government and be sure of the result because, according to Rigathi Gachagua, they will secure their votes. No one will tamper with them. Remember, Gachagua was traveling through America late today.
Mr. Chairman, this is not the first time I'm raising an alarm on your vice chairperson. You will recall that during the by-elections in Magarini last year, this same vice chairperson was largely involved in the malpractices, and I made the matter public. You did nothing about it. This confirms that she was holding your brief and that you are the appointing authority. Mr. Chairman, with your concurrence, the PS for Interior, Remo Domolo, the PS for Immigration and Citizen Affairs, Mr. Belio Kipsang, have held meetings with Miru Systems Company Limited of South Korea. They are in the process of giving to the company access to the country's voter registration database for integration purposes. But Kenyans are asking, who is Miru Systems Company Limited? This is a South Korean company with a very bad history of rigging elections across the world. Their global failures are well documented, having faced allegations of faulty technology in Argentina, Philippines, and the DRC, where they deploy their equipment and technology. In 2018, Miru Systems Company Limited supplied BVR kits to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Reports show that they delivered the election equipment 6 months late. Following the controversy, the South Korean government publicly distanced itself from this company. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, in 2023, election observers reported that up to 45% of polling stations experienced equipment malfunctions, and this potentially excluded 17 million Congolese from voting. Again in Congo, illegible voters' cards were used and actual voters were removed from the roll of voters. Following Congo's 2018 and 2023 polls, the U.S. Treasury Department placed election commissions, then president and 2 of his deputies under sanctions for undermining the democratic process of institutions. In 2024, in the Philippines, the mock elections conducted using Miru's technology encountered fatal flaws. Many organizations, especially human rights groups, rejected Miru's explanations, pointing to unresolved security and reliability issues. It is beyond discussions that Kenya would ever even imagine having such a vendor for our 2027 general elections. During the October 2024 parliamentary elections in Iraq's Kurdistan region, election monitors claimed that voting machines in up to 70 to 75% of stations malfunctioned by failing to properly record and transmit results. Iraq's Board of Supreme Audit raised red flags and warned the Election Commission about systems' credibility just days before the vote. Following the election, various political blocs in Iraq claimed the machines were hacked or manipulated, triggering widespread political tension and a mandated manual recount. The Miru plan in Kenya, as directed by William Ruto. Under the instructions of William Ruto, Miru Technologies has been instructed to prepare a new voters register and suppress voters from the following regions perceived to be against this regime. 1, Western Kenya; 2, Nyanza region, but in Kisii and Nyamira counties, 3 the Mount Kenya region, 4 Lower Eastern, 5 Nairobi, 6 Taveta and Namu, 5 Rift Valley in Nakuru, Laikipia, Kajiado, and Narok. We appeal to our development partners and embassies accredited to the Republic of Kenya to take note of this threat to Kenya's electoral democracy. The company should be banned and never allowed to manage any election or supply its equipment and technology to this country. I would like to challenge IEBC to confirm if the technical specifications in the tender have not been specifically crafted and tailor-made around the profile of Miru Systems technology. The IEBC must tell Kenyans whether this procurement process is in line with provisions of Article 227 of the Constitution and Section 60 and 61 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. Further, we are asking, what was and is the role of the Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Ali Joho, and Vice Chairman of IEBC Commissioner Fahima Arfat Abdallah in this tender process? Can IEBC produce documentary evidence showing who drafted the technical specifications for tender number IBC/OIT/01/26/27, including all internal committee meetings, technical working papers, market surveys, approval records, and explain why the specifications mirror the capabilities associated with a single supplier identified in the market, rather than being expressed as performance-based and vendor-neutral requirement. Before publishing the tender, what market analysis did IEBC undertake to establish the multiple qualified manufacturers or system integrators could realistically satisfy every mandatory technical requirement, and how many suppliers were identified as capable of meeting the specifications without requiring exceptions or waivers? How come and why did the IEBC formulate mandatory experience and qualification requirements that absolutely correspond with the operational history of Miru Technologies, instead of adopting proportionate, objective, and outcome-based eligibility criteria as required under the Procurement Act? And what technical justification exists for each restrictive qualification? What a clever coincidence, Mr. Ethicon. How come and why does the tender document contain numerous provisions requiring IEBC to insert, specify, or determine technical standards later, which stimulously imposing rigid mandatory requirements elsewhere? And how can bidders prepare comparable and responsive tenders where essential specifications remain undefined or internally contradictory? Why did the IEBC require a tender security of 30 million shillings while failing to disclose sufficient information regarding the quantities, commercial scope, estimated procurement value, or the budgetary basis necessary to demonstrate compliance with Section 61 of PPADA, and how are bidders expected to assess commercial risk under those circumstances? Finally, given that the Constitution requires procurement to be fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective, what safeguards did IEBC implement during the drafting stage to ensure that no manufacturer's proprietary, architecture, certification profile, or product ecosystem, including that associated with the Miru Systems, was embedded into the mandatory specifications in a manner that excluded otherwise qualified competitors? Kenyans should also be made aware that William Ruto's captured parliament has deliberately delayed the passing of the Elections Amendment Bill 2024 that contains provisions that touch on technology. Specifically, the bill proposes that the supplier of KIMS technology must grant IEBC intellectual property rights and ownership over the system. Senate passed the bill, but it has been pending in the National Assembly. We all know why. It is also not lost on Kenyans that recent changes in the ownership of Delaru Kenya Limited is directly linked to the ongoing electoral fraud that will be deployed in August 2027. Delaru Kenya Limited is a security printer with the technical capacity to print election materials locally. I am persuaded that William Ruto's recent investment in Delaru Kenya Limited is part of the rigging game plan that has now been put into play. No wonder, despite all the indications from independent scientific polling and intelligence assessment that show a William Ruto loss, he is confident that he'll whitewash any opposition and extend his kleptocracy for a further 5 years. Vulnerable and defective electoral voting technology threatens electoral transparency and the credibility of an electoral process. Any attempt to change the election management system technology less than 11 months to the 2027 general election is a recipe for failure and chaos. The real mischief of IEBC, as directed by William Ruto, is to interfere with the voter register during the digital migration of data from the smartmatic KIMS to the Miru technology kits. This they intend to do the last minute so that there is no room for corrections. This will cause massive vote rigging and voter suppression in some areas. Good people, that is what we needed to say about the harassment of small-scale traders in LPG gas trade and the attempt to bring this technology from South Korea that has failed everywhere. And specifications are tailor-made. And I've been told that the technology will cost 6.5 billion, up from the 4 billion the current system is charging, creating a 2.5 billion bribe to the IEBC commissioners and their cronies. Kenyans must resist this. Finally, I want to say, I want to go to Kikuyu constituency. The last time I was there, Kimani Ichung'wah unleashed violence on the people of Kikuyu, and the police were part of that violence. I'm told Kimani Ichung'wah was having a meeting this morning at 5 a.m. with the Dagoretti South MP, Mheshimiwa Kiari, to plan on how to attack the people of Kikuyu. I want to ask the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kaja, to provide security to that meeting, and his officers should not be part of violence that as they were last time. In fact, after goons were unable to attack our meeting the last time we were in Kikuyu, it is the police themselves who attacked our meeting. And I've been saying police have become goons. Kikuyu police station is a scene of crime. The OCS there, Mr. Mulwa, is a chief goon and works with Kimani Ichung'wah to cause violence against the people. So we'll be in Kikuyu this afternoon, and we ask the AG to provide security. We ask the OCS Kikuyu not to unleash violence against innocent people. Kenya is a democracy. To let people have their meeting and sell their agenda. After we leave, Kimani Ichung'wah can have another meeting tomorrow or the day after and sell his agenda. And you know, Kimani Ichung'wah is also very busy coercing my church, the PCA, to go and meet William Ruto. He is trying to organize with the Secretary General of PCA 2,000 church leaders to go and meet William Ruto at State House to take bribes. They want 300 million to pay some loans the church owe, and each participant want to be bribed with some 20,000 shillings. So instead of raiding our meetings, take time to work on the PCA delegation. Go and mobilize PCA church leaders, take them to State House to be bribed. And we asking our PCA clerics as a member of the church, please just go and take the money. The matter is there. We as members will not be persuaded by yourself that even if William Ruto through bribery persuades you to back him and to support him, we as members of the church will not be moved, will not be persuaded. So good people, I want to thank you for coming. I know we were with you yesterday. I did not give this information because I didn't have the full details, especially on the IEBC. It was very, very critical that Kenyans know exactly what is happening. So I want to thank you for coming. And I'll see you when I come back after a while.